So, hello everybody. I'm glad to be with you once again. Um, First of all, I would like to say something because um, if you enjoy this like of content, please subscribe to our channel because we have to share with a lot of people this kind of video, and we are wasting a lot of time doing that. So if you really like this kind of content, please subscribe to our channel or share the video would be something very great. And today we are going to discuss a very interesting topic. I feel like it is something that when you start to learn English is something very common. The topic is are accents important for communication? Well, we are going to discuss about that in this video. But first of all, I would like to say hello to Chloe. How are you?
Hi Eric, I'm good, thank you. Yes, it's quite exciting to talk about learning a second language, if accent is important. Yeah, and I do hope our audience could enjoy it. Yeah.
Yes, because I don't know. I mean, I don't know if this topic is something important. I feel like yes, it's something important in all the languages. I'm not sure because I know how to speak in English and Spanish as well, but yes, it's in English is something very common.
Mhm.
When well, we can begin. Do you have the question there?
Yeah, it's like a while ago when I talked to one of my friends who was learning English, she just mentioned, okay, if you want to learn English, you have to speak British accent or American accent. It's kind of made for me, and I'm not sure if um, I've been thinking about it a lot. If we have to do that, otherwise it wouldn't be intelligible. When we speak to a native speaker, um, we truly need to, make sense when we want to deliver some message. But I'm just wondering, if you have come across this kind of question or some of friends who were asking you a question like this.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, in a lot of cases, I heard from teachers these issues that you have to speak. Well, here in Argentina, we studied the British English, so probably you will heard something like you have to speak with a British accent,
Yeah.
not as something mandatory, but more or less, yes, because they say something like yes, it's the most clear pronunciation or something like that. And I mean, yes, it's I'm I feel like it depends
Mhm.
because some days ago I was discussing about this with a small group of people, and I told to them that from my perspective, it depends in the skills of the listener because in our case, our ear is very trained, so we are used to listen or to hear different kind of accents. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't have problems if I speak with someone with a Portuguese accent or with a Spanish accent or French accents and so on. I don't have problems. Obviously, there are some accents that they are very strong. So if you are not used to hear that specific accent, probably you will have problems to understand everything.
Yeah.
But I don't think that you have to speak, with a specific accent or that the British accent is better than American or the opposite. Or I feel like it's an issue of your skills, your own skills. Your listening, if your ear is trained.
Mhm.
Um, Um, from my perspective, it doesn't matter. As
Yeah.
you know, if you respect the grammatical rules, if your pronunciation is clear and you don't speak very fast, but because that is a problem as well.
Hmm.
If you produce the words,
Yeah.
clearly, or if
Yeah.
you speak very fast, well, if you have a very strong accent and you speak very fast, obviously, probably you will have misunderstandings or problems to comprehend everything.
Yeah.
So I feel like it depends. It depends. But yes, what do you think?
Yeah, you are definitely right. Um, well, I feel like I just want to like quote something said by a linguist. Um, like basically, he said standard English is written English or printed English, which is quite different than spoken English. So, if we learn a language, we just kind of um like base everything on the accent, it would be uh, we would get super nervous. We would focus on the pronunciation of each word, each single word, instead of delivering your message, expressing yourself in front of others. So I still feel like I personally think language is a tool. It's just it's something that we use to communicate with others. It reflects culture. Like we all have got like different cultural backgrounds, so it could reflect who you are. At the same time, you could come across intelligible. You could just get your message across to that person who you are speaking to. Um, yeah, there are all those kinds, like all those kind of variation out there. So for example, in the UK, well, I stayed in the UK for almost 7 years, and I heard yeah, sometimes I could hear people um like speaking like receives just the English with received pronunciation, which is a kind of which is quite posh one. So RP was spoken by about 5% of people in England, not Scotland, Wales, or Northern Ireland. Well, this is I'm saying that this is based on the study, like from a linguist. So we can just look up online. But basically, these days it's going to be 2% of the population, so it's quite rare. Um, and also when I work in work in the company, basically all of my colleagues, uh, I can't say all of them, but 90% of them have got all sorts of accents. It's good. Like, when I talk to them, I like to hear different accents. I feel like it would tell me who the speaker is and who I'm speaking to, and also I would be um really, very interested in knowing the cultural background of that person. So yeah, I feel like I do want to keep my accent because I just don't want to be me. I'm different. It's not like, okay, I'm different from like everybody else. It's just like I just want to be myself, and I want my accent to reflect that part. Yeah. Yeah, that's just my opinion. Thank you.
Yeah, yes, I agree with you. I mean, uh, we need to respect, our different identities,
Yeah.
because you cannot. I mean, because if you are from, for example, I'm a native speaker of Spanish, it's
Mhm.
it's very difficult to achieve the British accent.
Yeah.
So for example, in my case. I'm training my pronunciation, and I know how to train it. And it's a difficult process. But probably if you're learning English, you don't have tools, or you don't know how to train your pronunciation, and you think or you feel that this kind of pronunciation is better. Uh, Probably you will be a little angry with you because you can achieve that pronunciation, and at the same time that is not something mandatory that you have to do, or you must do it, or you must achieve that pronunciation. So I feel like, yes, it's a complex topic, because we know that language is related with power. Language is around language there are a lot of issues involved. So, for example, one thing that we discussed in the teaching training, we saw different perspectives about language. I'm not going to talk about all of them, but I remember that one of them were the functional. Its name was a functional perspective about language. So this perspective claims that language is a vehicle that powerful people use to manipulate or to influence the society. So how the powerful people do this? Well, through the institutionalization of the discourse. For example, before well, these powerful people manipulate the society through the Bible, so through the institutionalization of something, well, of this discourse. You have to be like this, like this, like this. Well, the same happen all the time. So from this perspective, language is like a tool. So the same could happen here. If you are trying to say that this is the correct English, this is the correct pronunciation, obviously we need to respect the grammatical rules. I'm not saying that you have to speak as you want, obviously, because I'm not going to understand you. This is not art. This is not art that you have to do what you want.
Yeah.
So we need to respect the grammar. But sometimes powerful groups use language to machine. I don't remember exactly the word. I forget the word, but yes, they don't respect the different characteristics of people. So we have to know that when you're learning language, there are a lot of issues around that language, and we know that English is a very powerful language. I don't know if it's the most powerful language around the world, but it's one very powerful. So we need to know that around all languages there are a lot of issues, there are a lot of policies. It's not just something that you are going to learn, and because there are a lot of ideologies around that language. So I feel like the accent is one of them, is one of these issues that um, you know probably there are a lot of um, I'm not going to say that there are a lot of manipulation, but yes, there are a lot of issues, very complex issues, that when you are learning a language, when you are a beginner, you're not going to understand that, because you are studying the basic grammatical rules, the basic pronunciation. But yes, I think that you need to respect your identity. You need to take into account your identity, and um, you know um, and think that you are not from a native. You are not from England, for example. In this case, you are not British, and if you speak with the British accent, you're not going to be from that place, obviously. And I really like the British accent. I'm not saying that it's something bad. If you speak with the British accent, it's okay. I'm just saying that You need to know these issues that they are around the different accents.
Yeah. Wow. That's so true. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, it's a yeah, there has got to be tolerance, acceptance, and respect for different languages and accents. There's no homogeneity in language. There's got to be different types of languages. That's how wonderful our world is. That's the diversity in language and cultures in this world. So yeah, we even in the UK, you've got, if I'm not mistaken, you've got at least 15 um like 15 kinds of accents. So there's not only received pronunciation, there are all sorts of accents, like basically scattered in different areas in the UK. And I was in Scotland for 4 years. And Scots were quite, I just found it quite hard to understand, but I do respect that culture, that language. Language is a that's wow, that's just a yeah, that's part of the fabric of the country, of the city. So I just found it quite fascinating to hear different accents. Yeah, and as you said, like we respect accents, we respect languages. On this, at the same time, we do need to like make sense. Like when we talk to people, we need to kind of balance the just our accent and the message we deliver. It's all about intelligibility. So if we kids just make like what we said sensible, intelligible, that's okay. Yeah. I'm just wondering, why do we have accents when speaking our mother tongue and the second language? Do you have any ideas about that? Why? Yeah, I was just kind of thinking about it all the time.
Yes, yes. I never think about it. Which was the question? Can you repeat?
I mean, why do we have accents when speaking a language, either our mother tongue or the second language? Yeah,
Yes, I feel like that depends in the people that is around a place and a
yeah,
specific place. Because, for example, if you heard the Spanish from Spain,
mhm,
uh, we can say that the standard Spanish is the Spanish from Spain. But if you heard the Spanish from here, it's very different. The Spanish from Argentina.
yeah,
So I feel like that is because of the people that travel to this place, to
mhm,
this specific place. Um, it's a mix, it's that is related with the culture. It's a mix of all the people, all the immigrants. We have to think. I feel like to discuss about this topic, we need to think about the history, about the history of that country.
yeah,
All the immigrants, all the developed. I mean, because for example, here we have a lot of immigrants from, for example, from Italy,
mhm,
and I feel like in our Spanish is I always say that our Spanish is a mix between the Spanish from Spain. I'm not sure. It's just my
yeah,
thinking, but this is between the Spanish from Spain
uh-huh,
and something related with Italy.
yeah,
Actually, some body language. We
mhm.
share some body language with with
Oh,
with them.
that's
Yes, like
interesting.
like like this one, like this
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so, ah,
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. So, what do you think about it, about this
Yeah.
issue?
Wow. The point that you just mentioned is very important and um yeah, and resonates with me. Like, um, we kind of, if we were born, let's say we were born in this country, and we were brought up here, and we kind of, it's kind of bubble, around us. We've got to listen and listen to their language, speak, talk to people on a daily basis. Then we would create kind of, I don't know, our tongue and lips might have got muscle memory. So um when we speak to others, it would just that language, that accent would just come out automatically. But when we learn a second language, I mean, I'm not a linguist. I could be wrong. It's just how I feel like when I learn a second language, I've got to train my tongue and lips a bit. So I've got to learn how to pronounce every single word to make it a bit just to make it sound like another language, not my mother tongue. So it takes time and effort to train your tongue and lips. Um, but I feel like so just now we were talking about like the myth of native speaker and how to break it. I feel like if any one of us would like to learn a specific accent or pronunciation, we like it just to, I think we can just go for it. And the things we do need to observe how, how people speak when they talk to others, and also consciously train our muscles, like, different parts of muscles. Um, yeah, I feel like you will make it at some point. It's all about timing. Yeah.
Yes, yes, it's something very difficult because, for example, in my case, when I started the teaching training, I had one subject where we discussed about these issues. I mean, the different movements uh, to produce the sounds in English.
Uh-huh.
Some sounds I feel like we need to be aware about that. That some sounds of a specific language maybe they don't exist in your mother tongue. So you
Yeah.
are, for example, yes, um, you are speaking in that language, but with the sounds of your native language. So that is very hard. Uh, you know, to be aware how to produce properly the
Yeah.
sounds of that language. So yes, but I feel like it's just an issue of train and practice all the time, because obviously when you are speaking, you are not thinking that yes, my lips are here, my tongue. No, you're just speaking, and it's something that you're not thinking about that. The same
Exactly.
happens. The same happens when you are talking. You're not thinking in the grammatical, in the grammatical rules or the structures. Is something natural. But when you are a beginner, when you start in this process, you have to train, and in that moment, it's something conscious. I feel like I'm not sure about this, but first of all, you have to train in this process consciously, where when you are used to produce, for example, the sounds, or when you know or you comprehend the grammatical structures, it's something unconscious. You speak and you are not thinking. Here is the verb, here is the noun.
Yeah.
You are just speaking, and the same happens with your pronunciation. Probably at the beginning, you will speak with a lot of sounds of your native language. but it's an issue of time. Um, but yes, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah, that's so true. Yeah, it just reminds me of training at gym. If you start training in the gym, you might need to start with I don't know, very um some light exercises just to get yourself used to training in the beginning instead of going for heavy weights. Placing them on your shoulders, walking, like kind of, walking around. We can't do that. So we do need to allow some time for us to, um, yeah, to get used to, like a different set of skills. Yeah, we can just say it's a kind of skill. We need to just give us some time to go on that path. And also yeah, and also it's quite we've got to be flexible as well. So if you feel like okay, um the pronunciation, if I just focus on my pronunciation accent, I would feel better, I would feel confident when talking to people, then that would that works for you. I mean that approach works for you. But if you feel like I need to be cautious and I just need to be careful with every single word, then we might need to chill a bit, like just to yeah, clear your purpose. I still feel like you need to clear your purpose. I've got some friends who could I didn't speak the second language very well. It's Spanish, yeah. She could handle like she could handle every single word very well. Her pronunciation is amazing. But when she speaks to a Spanish speaker. She was super nervous. She said, "Oh, I just couldn't handle it. I couldn't yeah, just move on with our conversation. I've got to stop there." It's because I guess like she was too guarded, too careful with every single word. So in that case, we do need to find a way that works best for us. Yeah, that's it. And there has been a time when I really focused on my pronunciation accent. Then later on, I just found, it's a type of um. So it's a kind of tool. I just need to use it on my daily basis. That's it. Yeah. So it really is up to you which way you like to go. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Because you need to train your fluency. Because
Exactly.
I feel like as you said, you need to balance. You
Mhm.
need a balance because if you are thinking a lot in your pronunciation, probably you will waste a lot of time in produce just a word or two, and so on. So, but as I said before, I
Mhm.
mean, the fluency is an issue of practice and practice and practice a lot. Uh, um, if you practice a lot, you will develop different tools to to maintain the conversation going. So I feel like it's an issue of the practice and take your time. And the same happen when you are nervous because probably your confidence is not as strong as we discussed before in the past, that
Yeah.
the role of the confidence. So I feel
Yeah.
like there are there are a lot of issues that you have to take into account, and don't be rude with yourself. Uh, so uh, so do you have another question, or do you think that we develop all the questions that we wrote?
Yeah, I guess we so basically yeah, I guess we can just come to an end if you want. Yeah, and hopefully yeah, every one of you enjoyed this conversation. And yeah, this is quite interesting topic. And if you would like to discuss it further, and just feel free to leave any comments here or send us an email, and you can find the email address in the description box. Yeah, that's it. Shall we say bye-bye? See you
Bye
next
bye.
time.
See you.
Okay, have a great day. Bye-bye. Take care, my friend.
Bye bye.